Good evening, everyone. My name's Simon Wright. I'm Head of Art Design and Media here at Strode College. And I'm going through a quick presentation with you this evening on some of the courses that we offer in our department in the Art Design and Media department. I know there's a Q&A option as we go through this. So if you do have any questions, do make sure that you type something in the chat bar. And I'll be happy to answer any of your questions at the end of the presentation. So we're going to start with just a broad overview of the courses that we offer, and we divide pretty neatly, almost 50-50 into A Levels and BTech. So the A Levels that we offer are fine art, photography, graphic communications, 3D design, film studies, and media studies. And we've almost got identical options for BTECs as well. So you can see on the right-hand side there that we've got art design, BTech Photography, BTech Photojournalism, BTech TV and Film Production. We also do a level 2 BTEC as well in creative and digital media production, and we'll get onto those in just a short while. So go through these logically and in order, and we'll give you a brief overview of what the courses are, what you can expect to do, and if, like I said, if you've got any questions about any of the courses, do make sure that you ask, and I will try to answer those at the end of the presentation. We'll start with our A-level fine art. A-level fine art really is a course that allows you to develop a range of different art skills, as you can see on the screen there. Everything from drawing to printmaking to ceramics and so on and so forth. And really, that first year is about developing your art skills and almost honing your craft as you get towards the end of that first year. In the second year, it's a lot more kind of independent. You're going to individually focus on a particular medium, whether that is painting, whether that's charcoal, whether that's printmaking. So really, the first year is a trial sort of exploratory year, and the second year is really sort of honing your craft. We're very lucky that we're on the doorstep of London, so we do every year get chance in a normal year anyway, we get chance to go out and do exhibitions and galleries, and that really helps students with their broader understanding of fine art and so on and so forth. In terms of progression, most of our students who do fine art go on to an art-related degree, where that is a foundation degree or foundation art course, or some of them go straight to the arts or straight into employment. We've got a really, really good record of getting our fine art students into particular universities that are well known for art, whether that's UAL, whether that's University of London, so on and so forth. So A-level photography is, as you can imagine, all about lens-based media, and we cover both film and digital photography. So we're one of the rare colleges actually still offer the opportunity to get into a dark room and develop your own, celluloid film photographs. And that's a skill that, even though it feels like it might be a bit old-fashioned, there are still lots and lots of professional photographers that use that technique. You will analyze photographs, photographers, you'll experiment techniques, and you'll experiment with composition, and you look at different areas like portraiture and fashion and landscape and so on. It's similar in many ways to the fine art course, where in the first year you develop a lot of skills, try things, and in the second year you'll kind of specialise, for want of a better word. So you might choose to go on to just do portraiture or landscape or whatever that might be. We have got a photography studio, we've got a dark room, as I've just mentioned, and we're well equipped with regards to our computer systems and software. We run the Adobe Creative Cloud, which has got Photoshop, Flash, Illustrator, InDesign. So if and when you come here, you'll find that you've got all the equipment and all the software that you need. You'll obviously, by the end, have a really good portfolio of professional images, and you'll learn how to use that industry standard software so that you're well versed to either go on to university or go into the industry. Similar to fine art, we're really lucky that obviously there's lots of photography exhibitions happening in London and around the southeast, and photography is one of those courses actually where we do lots and lots of trips every year. In an odd year, obviously we've not been able to this year, which is not being good, but we're hoping to make up for that in the coming years. A-level graphic communication then is one of our newest courses. It came online about 2 years ago, and we felt like there was a gap in our department that was crying out for graphic communication. So this is really, is, as it says in the board, is all about things like branding and advertising and packaging, and it's probably one of the more industry-led art qualifications we've got in our department. So you do things like video installations, you'll do things like motion graphics as well, so you're hands-on with things like stop motion and flash and that kind of thing. So you still have access to the same things that photography has access to, so the photography studio, darkroom, and all these things. So we kind of share our resources and our offerings across our department, so that's something to bear in mind. Again, lots of trips to galleries and museums, and when we could, again, graphics was one of the courses in the college that was quite keen to kind of get students out and about and looking at the real kind of world of graphic communication and graphic design. And as we're coming to the first kind of set of 2-year course, our second year is the first to go to university this year from graphic communication. So we've got lots and lots of exciting opportunities for our college leavers going on to university. If university isn't for you, then the industry is suppressed at the moment, but will grow over coming years. So there'll be lots of opportunity in things like illustration, animation, marketing, advertising, and so on and so forth. 3D design is a change really from used to do A-level design technology, and we've changed it to 3D design just because we felt as though there was more opportunities to be creative, explore kind of your own sort of practice in 3D design, but it falls under the same kind of umbrella as graphic communications, fine art and photography, and really it's mainly focused on product design. So you'll be looking at things like making furniture or architectural design or puppetry and things like that. And we also kind of explore things like exhibition design and design for TV and film and so on. We have got really well equipped workshop with things like lathes and mills and bandsaws, and we're just about to take receipt of our first laser cutter, and we're hoping in the not too distant future we'll get a 3D printer in our workshop as well. So lots and lots of industry standard equipment and machinery there to help you kind of feel like this is a professional environment. And naturally we've got things like CAD software to help you with your design work, and similar to the rest of the art department, we run lots of trip visits as well, so that's something to kind of bear in mind. Film Studies, which is the course that I teach, is an established course at the college, and I'm biased, but I think it's one of the better courses in the college. Very exciting, very creative, and it's a really nice combination of kind of practice and theory. So over the 2 years, you'll be looking at 11 different films from a range of different periods, a range of different parts of the world. So everything from silent film, which is silent comedy film, right the way up to our most contemporary film, which is from 2016. A bit of Hitchcock in there, some British films, some foreign films. So there's loads and loads of chances to explore a variety of different film. We'll look at how films are made. So we'll look at things like cinematography and sound and editing. And we're also going to look at the context around the film. So what was going on at the time that Vertigo was made, for example, and how did that impact the film? We also take a look at short films as well, because part of your assessment or part of your how your grade is kind of made at the end of 2 years is 30% worth of coursework, which is either going to be a short film or a script. So we look at short films to kind of get us prepared that. In terms of assessment, it generally is an essay-based subject, and essentially that's how we'll be assessed at the end of 2 years. So we big 2.5-hour exams. So we really have to sort of prepare ourselves for those exams by writing essays throughout the year. But we also do things like presentations, and we also do things like practical work, make short films and write scripts. And we also do things like podcasts and posters as well. So not just writing essays, although it is predominantly the way that you are going to be assessed in film studies. Media Studies then, which is the sister subject of Film Studies. Really, in many ways, it kind of covers everything apart from film. So as you can see on the board there, it looks at things like music videos, it looks at things like gaming, it looks at things like television, radio, advertising. So it's a much broader course in terms of what it covers. So if you've got a general interest in the media, whether that is gaming, whether that is TV or radio or print media, Media Studies is probably a good option for you to kind of consider. Again, similar to Film Studies, 30% coursework, and that is either a music video or you can make a double page spread, so part of a magazine. And like many of the other subjects in the department, you've got access to things like Premiere Pro, which is video editing software, and Photoshop, which is still image manipulation software. Media Studies, we see lots of our students go off into lots and lots of different related degrees, and because it's quite a broad course, there's a really good A level if you go off and do things like journalism at university, or marketing, or film and video production, or graphic design. So it's a really good sort of supportive subject if you want to go on to do any of these different subjects that you can see at the bottom there. So really good, lots of transferable skills that you learn in Media Studies. BTech Art and Design. So that's the A levels. The A levels, generally speaking, we call more theoretical. So lots of analysis, and there is some practice in there. Obviously, you can't really do fine art without sort of doing fine art. But there's a lot of theory and analysis in the A levels, and in many cases, the A level entry grades are slightly higher than the BTech entry grade. That's something to bear in mind. BTECs, on the other hand, are much more hands-on, much more practical. So you'll find that you are doing a lot more in the BTech subjects as opposed to analyse. There certainly is some analysis and theoretical that goes into the BTECs, but it's weighted much more towards the practical side of things. So BTech Art and Design is what we call a diploma. So it's worth 2 A levels. So it's a big chunk of your timetable, and that's something to bear in mind. You've really got to be fully committed to art design if you opt for the course, because it's 2/3 of your timetable. So in theory, you should be dedicated to that subject. Because a big course, though, what it means is that you get to engage in a wide range of different art practices, whether that is drawing, painting, ceramics, sculpture, textiles, photography, graphic design. So you'll get a really broad array of different skills under your belt if you take BTech Art and Design. You're going to be tested through assignments. So unlike A level, where you kind of practice and do projects and then get to a final 15-hour exam, in BTech Art and Design you kind of get projects almost on a term by term basis, maybe a little bit more. I think there's maybe 5 projects every year that you do. So we've obviously dedicated art studios with computer suites, again with that Adobe Creative Cloud. You can use the photography studio. We have a kiln as well, and we've also got a printing press. So there's lots and lots of equipment, resources, and so on and so forth to kind of support learning with that. And similar to the rest of the art and design courses, BTech Art and Design is no exception. When we can, we will be taking you out to galleries, museums, inviting people in also to do workshops. So in the past, we've had things like we've had the Royal Drawing Society in, we've had live drawing sessions and that kind of thing. So we try to get people in as much as we go out as well. So that's a really exciting part of BTech Art and Design. BTech Photography is obviously the sister or the big equivalent of the A level in photography. The main difference is, like I mentioned before, is that it's more hands-on. And you've got a lot more, in many ways, you've got a lot more freedom to kind of experiment and so on. So as it says, we'll just go through this on the screen there. Lots of trips and visits, lots of the art courses. You'll kind of, I guess, get the message now that we try to sort of introduce the outside world into our subjects. You've got access, same as A-level photography, you'll have access to the art room, the studio, same computing software as well. The key thing about photography is that you need to be passionate. I think lots of students who've got mild interest in photography, it can kind of go one of 2 ways. They really enjoy it, and get the bug, or it might not necessarily be for you. So you have a think about whether or not you are passionate about photography, not just taking pictures, but passionate about the art of photography as you're applying to do this course. We do advise that you have your own camera. That's not necessarily, we do have cameras to lend you, but our mantra really is that if you've got your own equipment, then you'll get used to it and you'll know what it does basically. So you'll, in theory, take better pictures and you'll be much more comfortable using the equipment if you've got your own camera. You need to consume digital and film. So it's thinking about the digital practice of photography and the film practice. And you need to have a creative mind. So unlike the A level in photography, there's a lot more emphasis on taking pictures. So the more pictures you take, in theory, the better you become as a photographer. The emphasis really in BTech photography is taking pictures, taking pictures, taking pictures. So BTech Photojournalism is kind of a rebranded course in many ways, and really what we've done is try to sort of focus specifically in photojournalism on two different areas. Firstly, photography and image manipulation, and also the ability to write copy and essentially be a journalist in many ways. So we think it's a really exciting course for many reasons. One, it allows you to go on to do journalism, is what you're interested in, and secondly, if you want to go into the world of still imagery and photography, then you do that also. So we have got a dedicated Mac week which photojournalists have the option to use. We've got option of offering DSLR, so professional style cameras. We've got a photography studio. So all the things really that you would expect from a photography course, but you've got the added tuition, shall we say, of journalism in there as well. So if you're interested in journalism, whether that is broadcast journalism, print journalism, online journalism, and you like taking pictures, or you've got an interest in images and page layout and design, this could be a really, really good course for you. And at the end of it, the obvious places to go, things like journalism, PR, marketing, advertising, and photography, obviously, as well. So lots of opportunities there with BTech Photojournalism. BTech TV and Film is another course. That's another diploma, and similar to art and design, the art and design BTech, it goes through a range of different skills. So when you sign up for BTech TV and Film, by the end of 2 years, you will have done everything from stop motion animation to storyboarding to script writing to editing to obviously use cameras as well. And we also do quite a lot of what we call industry-led units, things like responding to a commission, which is essentially getting hold of a live brief and producing something on the back of that. We do like, obviously, to do trips and visits as well. So we've got things like Warner Brothers Studios and film festivals, and we often go to BFI in London as well. So we're always on the lookout for new and exciting trips in TV and film. But Warner Brothers Studios, being just up the road in Watford, is somewhere that we like to get to every year. Everyone likes Harry Potter anyway, but we get to go behind the scenes and see how the film was made, and we have a dedicated lesson usually when we get there. So we're always updating our equipment as well in BTech TV and Film. Historically, we've had things like Canon DSLRs, which are effectively semi-professional DSLR cameras. We've got cold touch light panels, which really is kind of modern, bright panels full of bright LEDs, which you can touch. And we've got Zoom sound recorders as well, which we deal with sound and vision separately on the BTech TV and Film course, because essentially that's how it works in the industry. Similar to lots of the courses that we've got in the department, we've got full access to Creative Cloud. So you'll have things like After Effects, Premiere Pro, Flash. By the end of it, because you've done a stop motion, because you've done a couple of single camera productions like music videos, you have a really good show reel to show how the universities or anyone that's looking to take you on as an apprentice or going straight into employment. So you should be in a real position by the time you finish this course to go into university or an apprenticeship straight into employment. For those who don't quite get the grades to get onto a level 3 course, we introduced a level 2 media course a few years ago, and that's really, really successful. And we find that most of our learners who go on to a level 2 media course progress onto level 3 with us anyway. So it's a really great course to kind of get you ready for a level 3 course if you don't quite meet the entry requirements once you've finished your GCSE. This is a really exciting course, actually. Whether it's level 2 or not is kind of irrelevant, because you get to engage in a whole range of different media skills. So you'll do like editing, you'll do filming, sound recording and editing, desktop publications, so you design your own posters. So actually it's probably the broadest course that we do in the whole department. By the end of it, you'll be really well placed to go on the level 3 course if you want to stay Strode. If not, then you'll be well skilled to kind of go on to those apprentices that you might go on to. You'll learn the media industry as well, so it's not just about kind of the practical skills kind of development. You get a good understanding of things like how BBC is run or how social media works. So there's loads and loads of theory as well, which kind of underpin those practical skills on the level 2 course. So very exciting course there and very popular as well. So it's a little bit about university destinations as we've gone through the presentation, but we've got a whole range of different universities our students have gone to. Lots of our students go to universities down south, because there's a huge amount of universities offering creative arts degrees, and actually because it's quite close to London, the southeast, that really is the beating heart of the creative industry. So it makes sense for a lot of our learners to kind of stay in and around here. But notwithstanding that, we've had universities, students go to universities up in Manchester, Newcastle, all the way down in Exeter as well. All of these universities offer really, really good creative arts degrees, and we encourage a lot of our students, at the very least, entertain the idea of going to university. Yes, it's a lot of money, but it pays dividends in the end, because you'll get those skills at a different level to what we can offer here. So it makes sense for you at the very least to engage with that. Okay, just a brief overview of our general expectations in the college. No different to school in many ways, and you know, we don't shy away from the fact that we do kind of, you know, we are relatively keen to make sure that you continue with some of the practices that you've learned at school. So things like attendance and punctuality. Think of it like the industry. If you've got a job and you're late, then you know, obviously that's not great. If you miss a shift, then that's not great either. And no, because we've kind of seen the season and so on, that if your attendance and punctuality is poor, then your grades are likely to be poor as well. So that's something that we're really, really keen for you to get into the habit of, is attending and being on time. Code, we don't necessarily have a strict dress code. The one thing that we do say is that this is a professional environment, so you know, as professional as you can do, but we want our students to express themselves in whatever way they feel they want to. Behaviour, we've got a really good reputation in Egham and the surrounding area, and that's because our students are very well behaved, very courteous, and very thoughtful. So you know, we welcome students with that kind of mentality, and you know, we want our reputation in the area to remain as it is. Lanyards, all students will be issued with a lanyard, and you will wear that as soon as you get onto the college site. We are a unique college in many ways, because we're what's called an open college. There's many different ways to get in and out of the college. So we like to see our students with our lanyards on, just so that we know that they're students, and it's about safety and keeping the environment safe. And that kind of goes on the next bullet point in terms of respecting the college environment. Again, no different school. We've got a fairly clean, fairly tidy, fairly studious college environment, and you know, we expect any new student to kind of buy into that. One of the things that we are quite keen to sort of develop as you get here, maybe is where we differ from school a little bit, is employability skills. So that's general employability skills. That's things like attendance and punctuality and dress code, mannerisms, but it's also subject-specific employability as well. And we'll do that through your subjects, but also through the tutorial system, which we have here as well. And the key thing really is that we want you to arrive here ready to learn. This moment actually where you are, you can, if you want to, stop learning. And by virtue of being here, you've made a choice to be at college and to continue learning. So we would expect our students, all of our students, to be ready to learn and want to engage in the learning that we offer. So not many asks really, fairly sort of simple expectations in many ways, but it's something that we like to kind of establish at this early stage. So a bit about college life then. We've talked about trips and visits from a departmental perspective. but we have lots and lots of trips and visits across the college, not just the art department, whether it is the humanities department. There's always kind of, when times are normal, there's always opportunities to kind of go on trips and visits. We've got lots of clubs and societies, so we've got things like sports clubs, we've got things like student parliament as well, and we often kind of have societies, LGBTQ plus societies, and so on. So there's many, and they kind of change almost on a yearly basis, but there will certainly be a society, I'm sure, for everyone to kind of get themselves involved in. We often competitions, so they're often run through the core study system. So it might be like poster competitions or film competitions, which is kind of useful for anyone who's doing creative and performing arts, because you kind of do it anyway. So often we find these competitions are won by students who are in the film and media or design and media department. We've also got additional things as well, like EPQ, so the extended project qualification, which is an additional qualification if you wanted to look into that. And we also recently started delivering Gold Arts Award, which is looks really great on a university application, but also develops your broad kind of art skills in a broader sense. We've got TAS and fitness instructor as well, both of which are sport-based. So if you are a budding kind of semi-professional athlete, then the TAS system helps support you, helps you manage kind of the two worlds in ways. And fitness instructor is a level 1 qualification, which again is entering to you both if you want to go into the sports world. Other things as well, like the Aspire program, is, I guess schools will call it gifted and talented. We call it the Aspire program. It's for those who've got really high GCSE grades, and it's a broad program that kind of offers you information about from a range of different subjects. It's a kind of catch-all program for those with good GCSEs. And then at the bottom there, the Student Union and Student Parliament as well, both of which are really great on CVs, great on university applications. And more importantly, it gives you a voice in how the college is run, because yes, the teachers and management obviously have the final say, but we don't do that with peers. We listen to students, and we very much work with students and Student Union and Student Parliament in terms of how we can make the college better for everyone in sense. So lots of things to get involved in outside of your subjects, and something that you might want to consider as and when you get here. Okay, so if anyone's got any questions, Claire, you said you were going to ask a few questions if there were any, but yeah, please feel free to ask any questions and I'll do my best to answer them.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Simon. Yeah, we've had bear with me, a few questions that have come through. First one is, if I haven't studied art GCSE, can I still study art?
Good question. You can. So the entry requirement, we obviously know that art is an optional subject at GCSE. What we need to see though is a demonstrable ability, basically, to with regards to art skills. So obviously, if you've got a GCSE in art, that shows that you can do art and you're working at a certain level. If you haven't done art GCSE, what you would need to provide to me or the art teachers is a portfolio of work. So that can be sketches, can be paintings, that can be photographs. Essentially, it's a way of sort of not convincing us, but it's a way of showing that you are going to cope at level 3 with regards to any of the art subjects. Yes, you can do it, but my advice to whoever has asked that is, if you haven't started, start getting a portfolio of work together. So start sketching, drawing, painting, whatever it is, whatever your chosen medium is. And if and when you come to us at enrolment or you're in August, then all you would do is show us your portfolio of work, and that will be assessed by the teacher at the time.
Okay, great, thank you. And talking of art, and perhaps this kind of rolls out across the other courses, but what equipment would a student need for art, and assuming they can purchase any kit through the college? Yeah,
absolutely. So we there is an art kit which we expect all of our students to buy at the start of the year when they join us. It's I think it's £60, £65, but that pretty much has everything that you will need for the full year. So that will give you the paints, the paintbrushes, the workbooks, the you know, all kind of implements and resources that you need. If you are doing something specialist, that's where you might need to speak to teachers and say, well, look, this is what I want to do. What you know, would you advise me buying? But generally speaking, all art students, fine art and photography and graphics and BTech art and design start pretty much with the same art pack. Within reason, the slight discrepancies between photography and fine art, but they will all you will all get your an art pack which will get you going in the first few weeks, and that should last you the year really.
Great, thank you. And another question: if I studied the diploma in art, can I do the A level alongside?
Yes, you can, and actually, for those who really who want their fill of art and are very creative, that's not an uncommon thing for people to do. So yes, you can do that. There is some crossover, but as you've hopefully seen from the presentation, the fine art course is very much a kind of synoptic approach where you'll kind of slowly sort of learn skills and develop those skills. More importantly, those analytical skills throughout the first, second year, whereas BTech art and design is very much project-based. So you will get a graphics project, and then you'll move on to a landscape project or a ceramics project. But the answer is yes, you can do both alongside each other.
Great, thank you. Another one is, if I'm interested in a career in filmmaking, should I study the Film Studies A-Level or the Film and TV BTech?
Sorry, was that if you're interested in Korean filmmaking?
A career in filmmaking.
I thought you said Korean film. I thought I'd read each question. No. Career in film. Good question. I think really the question that I would ask is what kind of a learner are you? So if you like to make things and you like to do things and you're more interested in producing work, that, you know, moving image work, then I would probably do the TV and film BTech. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you can't get into the film industry if you've done film studies. I think the other thing to think about is that when you leave BTech TV and film, you'll have more skills in inverted commas. You'll be able to kind of make a stop motion animation. You'll have spent many more hours editing than you would have done if you're on the A level in film studies. So if you're intending to straight into the industry, or maybe even into an apprenticeship, I would say that the BTech TV and film is probably the better option, but neither kind of exclude or give you in the long run give you a leg up to getting into the industry. So yeah, you can do both as well if you wanted to do both. You do TV and film and film studies. So that's a combination that is not uncommon actually with many of our film and TV students. Great,
thank you. Another one is there an option to gain work experience on the courses?
There is, yeah. So it's kind of a drive of the college actually over sort of year, 2 years, 3 years. Certainly when it comes to the BTech Diploma in TV and film and the BTech in art and design, we've run work experience projects and offered work experience opportunities to those students, in particular for the last 2 years as a mandatory part of the course. We are very much moving towards a broader sort of college-wide work experience format over the coming years. So if you're taking a diploma in TV and film, then yes, you definitely will have the opportunity to do work experience. And if you are doing one of the A levels or one of the single BTECs, then there are certainly plans over the coming months and years to make that a staple of course. In terms of what the work experience looks like, in the first year we tend to sort of run that work experience ourselves. So we kind of create a week where you'll be working on a project. So for example, we did a promotional video for the college or promotional material for the college last year, which worked really well. And in the second year, the emphasis really is on the student to get the work experience, because that's part of work experience, doing, looking for work and job hunting basically. So it makes sense for you to kind of go through that process so that you know what you've got to do when you leave college or university. So yes, there are opportunities, and they are developing at a fairly sort of rapid pace as well.
Thank you. And in terms of applications to universities, do you offer support workshops and UCAS guidance?
We do, yeah. So that's generally speaking, that is done in core studies. Core studies deals with the UCAS university applications, but effectively your subject tutors will write your references, and it obviously makes sense for you to discuss with your subject tutors, your subject teachers, you know, which courses you want to do, what would be beneficial for you, what universities are good, because your core studies tutor might not necessarily be a specialist in your particular area. So you might have a science teacher, for example, as a core studies tutor. But the short answer is we do offer a support for core studies. And you know, teachers will offer regular support as you go through the university application process anyway. So yeah, there's plenty of support there for anyone who wants to go to university.
Great. And after someone applies, they're invited for an interview. Can you just touch on the interview process and how does it work and what you're looking for?
Yeah, so at the moment we're doing phone interviews, and actually it's a fairly formal kind of affair in many ways. It's not kind of like the, you know, don't think of it like the apprentice kind of interviews where, you know, there's somebody sat across a table and we'll be grilling you. It's not like that at all. So really what we want to do, this is about you sort of, you know, gauging what we are about as much as us kind of making sure that you're right for the course that you've chosen. So essentially we'll talk about the options that you've chosen, so the courses that you've chosen. We'll say what, you know, why did you want to choose those, why you've chosen those courses, what is it leading on to, have you got a career in mind? And they're not really trick questions, just to make sure that you have chosen the right courses. So for example, if you designs to be a journalist, and you've chosen you know, biology, PE and maths, then we'd kind of be saying, okay, well, you might want to do English language, and how about photojournalism? So it's really questions designed to make sure that you are on the right course, on the right program of study. And aside from that, we kind of go through the entry requirements, what each course is about, we'll do on each course. And at the end of it, if you know, almost 99% of the time we will do well with your GCSE, make sure you impress your teachers between now and the end of the year. And if you do, then you're likely to get the entry grades, and we will, you know, we welcome you to enrolment in August, and you'll be with us in September. So yeah, they're fairly sort of, yeah, fairly informal events. And when people hear the word interview, they instantly kind of think, oh goodness me, this is kind of heavy stuff, but it's not really that, you know, it's not as heavy as you might think it's going to be.
Thank you. I had another one come through, support services, you know, that to help students maybe with mental health. There's a big team on site, isn't there? And yeah, there's absolutely. So we've got an amazing support for learning team who deal with everything from you know, minor kind of learning barriers. So it might be you know, mild anxiety around exam time, to you know, to more complex needs, and that very, very well versed in supporting a range of different learners. So our support for learning team helps specifically with that. Outside of that, we've got great student services. We look at everything from financial support to if you're feeling sick on site, they will look after you. We've got a medical room. We've got you know, a range of different people to help with that. We've also got a counsellor who's just joined us not so long ago as well. So if any students feel like they need that service, that is there. And I'm not sure how long we've got these for, but we've also got progress coaches for students who, for whatever reason, might be struggling to catch up or might be struggling with the workload. But there is a whole sort of layer of support, a whole support system at college. We recognise that, you know, moving from school to college is a big jump, and you're all of a sudden thrown into this adult world, which some people, you know, most people are okay with. You know, other people
for obvious reasons, don't always kind of get to grips with it as quick as others. So yes, we've got a lot of support, everything from educational to mental health to physical to financial. So yeah, it's all there, and just need to speak to the right people. And when you get here, you will know who those people are.
Great, thank you. And I think that's the end of the questions, unless anyone else has any last questions they want to say. I think that's it. I think we're just coming to an end now. Did you want to just touch on the application process if you can? I mean, we have briefed over it, but
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So essentially, the website is your first port of call. Obviously, when you are choosing your when you're choosing your subjects, all the subjects are on there. You can kind of see up-to-date information about them. If you create an account and complete the form, then that will allow you to make your application to Strode. A fairly simple process, fairly quick, and painless. After you'll get invited to an interview, which at the moment, like I said, are phone interviews. So someone will call you usually on a Wednesday afternoon between sort of 3 and 5 o'clock. And it's, a 10-minute, 15-minute interview talking about the application that you've made. And then moving further towards the back end of the summer, so when we get into August, that's when we'll invite you in to roll. And at that point, we'll look at your GCSEs, we'll look at the application that you've made. If there are any changes that need to happen, we will do that at that stage. And pretty soon after that, a couple of weeks after that, you'll be in the classroom at Strode.
Fab, thank you. No more questions, so I think that's it. Thank you very much, Simon, and thank you everyone for joining us.
My pleasure. All right, nice talking to everybody. Have a good evening.
Bye.
Bye-bye.